Well, I was going to say, holy fluff, we've got a guest on Cyberathletics for the first time.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know how I'm going to edit this and how it's going to look. It could just be Dom by himself and us two just, like, we're audio
Just
only.
Just voices.
Yeah, he's like doing a full takeover.
Or you could have
of
like
the
your
Cyberathletics podcast.
face made small, superimposed over his left ear, and mine on his right.
Yeah,
Just like
we
just
put him
faces
on his
just
shoulders like the angel and the devil. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder who would be who in that scenario. We can leave that up to
I
speculation.
wonder.
But anyway, yeah. So we've got Mr. Dom Sacco himself here, founder and editor in chief of Esports News UK, and all round lovely person.
Oh, thanks very much. Yeah, I'm delighted to be here, guys. I watch your podcasts. I like listening to what you have to say about all the things you've spoken about, esports awards, Saudi's involvement in esports and so on. So yeah, I'm honoured to be here.
It's nice to bring on like one of our 3 listeners we do it as like a giving back thing. So once a month we'll bring on one of our very few listeners to come and chat about esports.
I always try to comment for the algorithm.
Nice, appreciate that, Dom.
What a guy.
More people should do that. Not enough people do that on esports.
I agree. I try and do that. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, we got the UK esports legend in the house. So,
too kind.
It's an honour. It is
I'm trying to see him blush.
I do my best. Well, it's hard because it's hot today, right? So I'm permanently sort of.
Yeah. Oh my god, my room is disgraceful.
I look like Mr.
Krabs,
honestly. So we brought in Mr. UK Esports for a very specific reason, and it's because we're uneducated about the topic that we're going to discuss.
True though.
So obviously there was the Commonwealth Esports Championships. I believe that is the perfect pronunciation of that title.
Yes.
All the S's in the right places and stuff like that, which has been getting coverage from the BBC, which is how you know it's not really an esports event like that. I mean, it's not part of the esports zeitgeist. But no, some people consider it like a watershed moment for esports, especially UK esports, you could say, in a sense, hosting that. And the first step to getting esports in the Olympics. Other people, some really wise people, I would suggest, consider it more of a, we're here to try and take over. I don't know. It doesn't, to them, whoever they may be, those smart people, they don't really see the acknowledgement from the core esports folks, and then they have to try and wonder why that may be, and it's because it's run mostly by people who are not really plugged into the actual industry like that, and thus is sort of the kind of problem. They're seemingly trying to progress esports, but in my mind, it's like their version of esports is what they want to get going with, but not going too hot takey at the beginning. I don't even know when it started, but I know it's just finished.
Yeah, it started last Friday. So whenever this goes out, it would have been Friday the 5th of August. That was the Commonwealth Esports Forum, which was more like an industry conference for their member federations. I spoke to people in the esports world that went to that, and they did say, I had a few say to me, we didn't really learn much, Dom. Maybe it wasn't for us. But, I've interviewed the CEO of Global Esports for the reason of who are they? Let's get to know them. Get it straight from the horse's mouth so that the esports community and the UK esports community and my readers can, form an opinion on them. And Paul, the CEO, did tell me we're not for, the esports community as such. We're for people around the world, these different member federations, esports federations, sports societies, and so on, and partners to understand esports. But then I was thinking, well, you do the Global Esports Tour as well, which is a talk which actually esports orgs, right? Ninjas and Pajamas, I think other traditional orgs have taken part in that. So which is it? And that's why I'm a little bit on the fence with Global Esports, because I think they're trying to do what they say, but they're trying to do other things as well.
Isn't that tour where they just go to all the places that would like kill gay people? It's effectively like, all right, let's go to the places with the most money. Like, I'm pretty sure that there was a Saudi stop. If not, there is one coming.
They've got one coming, and actually, I should know on this. I'll say my knowledge is more of the Commonwealth.
I don't want to detour too much, but it was just.
You're right. They have got one in Saudi and a few others, I think, over the years, and I think they've done this partnership with the West Midlands, this 10-year deal where they want to get West Midlands hosting a Global Esports Tour. So if that happens, we will have some bigger orgs playing here, because we haven't had many, especially with COVID. We haven't had many for a few years.
Interesting. But also with the name Global Esports Federation, you'd assume they would be wanting to effectively be the ruling body or governing body of esports. That name suggests as much. So they're now saying they're not really aiming for the esports folks, despite the title where it is for the esports folks. Like, there's some muddled messaging here. Maybe they don't perhaps know what they're actually trying to do.
They've said they're a convening body, right? Because I asked them that. I've said I feel like a lot of the esports community aren't aware of you or what you do. You say you're the convening body for the esports ecosystem, right. And there's a lot of words in there. You know, credibility, legitimacy, prestige. They've put these aren't my words. There's equality, fair play, diversity, inclusion, innovation, all this stuff. And they said, "Oh, we're not just saying words," but I do think, I was speaking to someone earlier who's sort of linked with the Commonwealth Esports Championships, and they were saying, actions speak louder than words. And this Global Esports Federation are still quite new. I think they were announced late 2019, this partnership with Tencent, which got people, looking a little bit. But we've seen this a lot, haven't we, with other entities over the years, and they're not really doing much, like WISA and so on. So time will tell.
The powers with the publishers, right? So it's hard for them to come in unless they're literally going to partner with all of the publishers, which I think Global Esports Federation is trying to do. I think they probably hold some deals with. I think they've got like Capcom and maybe Riot Games and stuff, right? They have some in there, but you're not going to get them all on board. Like how Riot Games wants to operate its like leagues and ecosystem is very different to how Valve does with CS. Like getting everyone on the same page there is no bueno. It's not going to work.
Exactly, and some people might say I'm naive to think this, but Tencent isn't Riot Games. They're the parent company, right? And they can have sway and so on. But, I've seen people from Riot being a bit critical of Global Esports on Twitter.
Oh, really?
There was someone, I think, who commented under one of your tweets. I can't remember his name now. Someone from Riot. I should have looked at not even your tweets, someone's tweets. I can't remember now. But that's the thing, isn't it? Because I think back in the day, Tencent wanted a mobile game of League of Legends. And from what I've read, Riot were pretty resistant. All right, we can't be done, blah, blah, blah. Eventually, we got Wild Rift.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're still suing the shit out of Moonton, right, for Mobile Legends, which is like the most viewed esport in the world if you look at peak viewership this year.
Wow.
It's insane to they dropped the ball on that one massively.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, the proof will be in the pudding. Time will tell. I think the Commonwealth Esports Championships went okay. I didn't get to go. I did want to go, but shout out to Jack Freeman, who covered that for Esports News UK and did a little opinion piece. Like, he was there, and he said, things like the crowd. It was very up and down. Some games, like I think Rocket League Open, it was a good bustly crowd. Other games, a little bit quieter.
So those other games, we've got eFootball, which is a reskinned PES, now like a recurring, like evolving title as opposed to an annual release, and also Dota 2, right? So not weird title choices. Rocket League makes the most sense, of course, because it's the most easy to understand. But and I guess you could say the same for eFootball, but no one plays or really watches that.
They were. So why was eFootball chosen? So it's Pro Evolution Soccer, isn't it? Just FIFA. Expand on. Well, yeah, do you reckon? It's probably why, isn't it?
That's my assumption. Is that FIFA, and the whole EA falling out with FIFA thing, if you read quotes and read between the lines there, I think it's been, and from people I've spoken to, I think FIFA are quite difficult to arrange tournaments with. So who knows?
Well, somebody was telling me the other day that working with FIFA is like just impossible. Like there's just so much red tape and like bureaucratic like nonsense that you have to get through.
And that is a body, isn't it? That is a body. But they're more of a governing. They are a governing body, but that's an interesting comparison to make.
But so if you want to like show the best of esports, I don't think you're going to be able to do that with like Dota 2, but not having established teams and just chucking people together effectively. And eFootball, which is largely irrelevant to esports. Let's be completely real there.
Yeah.
And Rocket League makes some sense. Again, I still think trying to go the national route just doesn't make sense with where we're at with esports. Obviously, there's a lot of like casual gamers for a game like Rocket League, but how many are like elite? I read that one of the women's teams in Rocket League is a Bronze 2 player. Bronze 2.
You know what? I didn't.
That's the second lowest rank you can fucking get. Like there was that, and I saw that some teams had players that had only been playing for a week. Like, and I don't know how true these are. I'm not those players. I can't verify it that way. But having a bronze 2 player just shows like the pool is not deep enough to have like good national teams and showing the top flight competition at that level where we're at now. Surely.
Yeah. I mean, I was just going to say, it's like a pros and cons thing. If you want to get the best teams and the best players, with, like you said, with where esports is at, like, I would presume that, they're all about equality and, diversity and stuff, which is great. But are there enough female players, for example, to have like to have like elite competition? I don't know.
That's the thing. Especially with a game like eFootball. eFootball doesn't have a ton of pro players as it is, let alone women's players. I know FIFA doesn't have a ton of women's players either.
Yeah, I don't think I know of a single one. In fact, that's what I mean. You don't really see women at the top of esports at all. There's like, there's one, I can't remember her name, but in the Overwatch League,
there was Guguri in season 1. He was part of the 0-42 loss streak for Shanghai Dragons.
God, that doesn't do well for the.
And there was Scarlet in, was it StarCraft?
Yes, StarCraft 2. And there was a oh gosh, I can't remember her name now, but a Hearthstone champion as well. That was in a tournament. At BlizzCon a few years ago.
And so that's the thing with like with like every other event at the Commonwealth Games, you're going to get like the highest level competition. And so it's fine if they want to prioritize equality and diversity and stuff. That's fine, but it also just means you're not going to get the highest quality competition, which I think would be one of the major pulls for most people. You get Rocket League, Dota. If you can really get the best players to form a national team, I think that would be really, really cool. But it's like you would want that from a Commonwealth Games event, especially the first one. But
you'd want to see that in like CS. Imagine like
exactly.
Seeing the UK team for CS versus a US team where they have access to all of the biggest and best.
But that's the thing, isn't it? You can't have terrorists in the Commonwealth Games, can you?
I suspect not.
AK-47s.
I suspect not all players want to take part either. That would be my assumption on that front, especially where it's not like an official medalled event by any means. It's just effectively an experiment / exhibition at this point, right?
Yeah, I don't believe there was prize money. I think it was all medal. Some had their travel, stuff provided by some of the member federations. But talking about diversity, I'm glad you brought that up, because I would like Global Esports to be mindful of their own values here. We're talking about diversity and inclusion. You've got a couple of things. There was a tweet. Unfortunately, the most popular tweet during the weekend on the Global Esports account was massacred by toxic people being transphobic and things towards some of the transgender players in the women's tournaments. And it took them a little while, as Jack writes in the opinion piece he wrote for my site, Esports News UK, it took Global Esports a little bit, quite a few hours to limit the replies. And he would have liked to have seen, and I would have as well, I echo this, a statement to come out, like saying, we're unhappy with these comments, or whatever word you want to do, the borrowed comments, and we stand with the players and inclusion. They didn't do that. So be mindful of that. And, I think the fact that they have links with the Saudi Esports Federation and Saudi, I asked Paul that, don't some of your values go against Saudi's laws? And
he gave the biggest non-answer of all time.
Yeah, and some people in the community, like Stress Casts, was critical of him. Apparently, Global Esports have reached out to Stress, and Paul wants to have a chat with him. So they're trying, but it's be mindful. That's what I'd like to see them. Just be mindful of their values.
Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. I'm glad you remembered to say that, Dom, because if you're about diversity and all that stuff, and then I mean, the values with a regime like the one in Saudi Arabia, they just don't align. It's as simple as that. Like, they're never going to mesh. So how can you claim that, and yet one of your major partners is Saudi Arabia?
Because
is it
who are we to exclude people because they don't believe the same things as us, Billy? That's the thing. You see?
Well, I suppose
we're all
in that
people.
sense,
can't we just relate on that front, right? Just because they don't think the same thing as us.
Bullshit, that, isn't it? When I was reading your piece, Dom, it's like, that's what I got from it. Is Yeah, like we accept all opinions. That was essentially the message, wasn't it?
Except
it's
for
like,
those
but those opinions, yeah, but like those opinions just don't align with our values. So yeah,
It's in their song as well.
Is it?
Diversity, inclusion. They got their own. So who was it? Wanted you guys to do a duet of the song.
Was it Chris Kissack?
Chris Kissack,
Isle of Man. Yeah.
Oh yes, yes,
Legendary
it was.
Chris
Yeah,
Kissack.
yeah, Chris. Yeah. But do you know
I
what?
love
I
Chris.
actually think it's a little bit catchy. The song.
I'll be honest, I've not listened to it yet. I know
Okay.
people
I
were
may
saying
perform a cover and insert it before this. I may do it and
Should we
insert
do-
it,
I would
and
love
insert
to
it before
outro.
this.
Outro.
I'd love to see.
Yeah,
that.
stay to the end, and I promise I will perform a small cover of Global Esports Federation's official
If this
soundtrack.
video reaches 100 likes, we'll duet it and put it as the outro in the next video.
I would love to see that. I'd love to see that.
Oh God, and I've got to sing.
was
But
gonna
anyway,
say
I don't
something
take them
this
serious until they've reached out to me, Dom. This is I'm bored and grumpy, right? Is that what?
Oh,
how
this
they're
is what
describing me, right?
you've helped me. That's what I was going to say.
Why
My
has it
boomer
reached out to
brain.
me, the shithead?
I hope you didn't mind that I put your tweet in my article because
Oh,
you know
felt
I
famous,
wanted
mate.
to.
A third of the interview was about my tweet.
I wanted to present. Well, Paul kept talking about it after that. You know, I wanted to present. You know, the community's different opinions, and he did say, "Oh, you know, we're not for people like Adam who understand esports and blah blah blah." But yeah, he referred to you as brave and a little bit
brave.
grumpy. I think. Yeah.
And we discussed this while we was arranging recording. But him saying that I'm brave to like basically speak out against them can be taken as a threat. Because what would I need to be brave about? Just like sharing an opinion on Twitter, unless there was some means of retaliation or I don't know, like
They're gonna get you, mate.
yeah, you know what I mean. I'm gonna get whacked by Paul Foster. like what's going on here? I don't know what they're gonna do. Send Chester King around with a shotty and just blow my door down and like submit me or something, get me in an armbar. Like I don't know why I would be brave. I'm just putting stuff out on Twitter. People say much worse shit than I do. You know what I mean? So I found that a bit weird. I didn't take it personally in that he was threatening me or anything. Of course, like whatever. This is all at the end of the day video games. But
you never know.
that was a strange choice of words. I find.
I would like to see you interview them, Adam. That's what I'd like to see.
I'll wait for them to reach out to me.
Yeah,
I would love to see that. I mean, I can be good cop if you want to do it on Cyberathletics.
You ain't got the stones for that.
Channel.
You ain't got the stones for it. No, 100%.
Well, is this an official challenge or not? Is he unwelcome?
Well, let's just say if he comes on this podcast, I will go to Saudi Arabia and put my arm around a man and get arrested. Like that's how sure I am that he is not gonna come on this podcast because like especially on video as well.
Yeah,
that adds another element to it, man, doesn't it? Like so, yeah. But if he's brave and maybe feeling a little less grumpy, then he's more than welcome to come on show. Of course, like would have a I don't know, a normal chat. I'm not here to try and abuse the fella. Don't know him. But
no, listen. It's like I do like interviews where maybe I can be. Sometimes I think I'm a bit too nice, because someone said to me after that interview, Dom, you didn't go hard enough in that interview. I was like, I thought I was grilling him quite a bit.
I thought, Dom, I have the same problem, mate. I really do. Like, I'm conscious of how agreeable I can be sometimes. I really don't like the conflict side of things. I know Adam doesn't have a problem with it, but I do.
Yeah,
what do you mean? I'm a human, just like everyone else.
Wait, but Dom, I thought the interview was really good. I thought you asked the right questions.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think
sometimes people are expecting fireworks. I think for a piece like that, it doesn't need to be. I think you probed well. But I thought it was good.
Yeah, I think if something gets the fire in me, right? I think my best opinion pieces are when I'm angry about something. But as the years have gone on, as UK League of Legends and so on, which is my main beat, has improved, I have less things to sort of get angry about, really. But if I'm passionate about something, I will go in.
I was going to say, I'd extend that to say not just angry, but just like feeling strongly in any way about something, right? Because if you're seeing something that you love and no one else is really talking about it, you're going to want to shout about it as well. So,
yeah. Dom, didn't you write a really good opinion piece? I'm trying to think what it was on. Was it Riot Games or Activision Blizzard? You wrote one.
Yeah.
It was about I don't know. I think it was about workplace harassment and stuff like that. It was a while back, but
possibly, yeah. Oh, yeah. I did the one on World of Warcraft. Sort of felt tainted to me at that point. I was like, well, let it be tainted. Now with Microsoft coming in, and the settlement they've done, and they've made some changes, people are feeling positive a little bit again. I think about Warcraft and Activision Blizzard, but it's still got a long way to go.
Yeah.
But the Microsoft thing made a lot of sense. I think Microsoft is that big family-friendly brand now, isn't it? And anyway, but I've gone on a tangent.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the format for some of the events at the Commonwealth Games? Wasn't there some problems with that? Or weren't there some problems with that?
Yes.
So, who's the geezer who penned the tweet longer? Is it right? Is he Welsh? I've maybe made that bit up.
Yeah, yes. I didn't know how to pronounce that, actually. I didn't know if it was Day or Die.
Yeah.
Sure. David Jones, he was a player for the Welsh Dota 2 Open team.
If his name's David, it must be Day.
Yeah. Yeah, DAI. Yeah,
hard-hitting journalism here on Cyberathletics.
Yeah,
he's gone here from 8 qualified invited teams. Only 5 showed up. Reasons not known to me. But instead of combining the 2 groups of 4 into one group of 5, they continued as planned, with us having 1 best of 1 per day, and having 2 teams in the other group play each other once.
Yeah, 1 best of 1 as well. It's not even.
And the eFootball format changed halfway through from best of 1s to best of 3s. So that upset a few people. But he did say overall, it was a very positive. What did he say here? Overall was hugely positive. That was buried in his tweet longer. Everyone took out the other stuff. And it was Face It doing this, right?
I was going to say.
I was going to ask who operated it.
So it's Face It, and if you've ever heard of or worked with Confetti, which is the esports like production institute kind of thing for Nottingham Trent Uni.
That's it.
Yeah.
Who I worked with a tiny bit at Esports Insider. They seem good. The venue's nice and stuff. Not been, but looks good.
I think they may, unless I'm mistaken, I think they provided some of the facilities as well for like the week before the finals in Birmingham.
Right.
Some of the players did complain about, we got student accommodation, which wasn't very good. But
with stuff like that, I just think get a grip, mate.
Well, did you think there was going to be in a Hilton in Birmingham?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and I mean, I guess if you see it and it looks like a prison cell, then fine. But I'm sure it isn't that bad. Like people do like to moan. I feel like that's something we have to consider as well. Like, people just love a good moan.
And honestly, when that tweet longer came out, and that was a few days before the finals, I'll be honest, I thought, there's going to be a bunch of tweet longers by the end of it. But other than that, and the transphobic stuff, which was, they don't have control over that. That's other internet communities. There didn't seem to be too much that was negative. There were some weird things that Jack, my writer, did point out. They had a trophy on the stage. Right? And none of the esports teams were lifting that up. So Jack was thinking, what's going on here? Now, this trophy was awarded to... this was the GEF Values Trophy. It was awarded to the people of the West Midlands for their warm hospitality. That was a bit weird. I would have liked to have seen teams lifting trophies, but they could argue it's a medal thing. You have medal.
Yeah.
Well, no, they're so inclusive. They gave the award, like the trophy, to everyone.
That's a bit weird. That's not really an esports thing, is it? But they're trying to be nice.
They also did an award ceremony before any of the games started, I believe.
Yes,
which was Global Esports Federation people giving out awards to other Global Esports Federation people. Is that right?
Yeah, and partners and I think friends of
and partners and stuff,
So,
which again, the partners thing is like, I mean, I guess I wasn't there, so it's tough to pass judgment. But like, even that's a bit weird, don't you think? It's like, let's just award our partners.
Yeah, it did. I don't want to be too critical, but it did remind me a little bit of the, the Office, the US Office sketch where they have the, what's it called, the Dusties or the Dandies or whatever it is, and they give out these little...
Yeah, the Dundies, yeah.
The Dundies, that's it, trophy, their team and all of that. It felt a little bit like that. But like I say, I wasn't there as well. I wasn't there, but Jack, my writer, was there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the fact is they hosted £295? Is that how much it was? But like almost £300 esports forum ahead of time, which was a conference about esports featuring speakers who are not really part of esports or have that much experience in esports, and they're charging £300 for that shit. Like you can almost get an ESI ticket for that and have like people like leading people from the industry as part of it. It makes no sense. That to me is just like fleecing the fuck out of people and then just espousing whatever the hell you want, because then if it's for people who are not in esports, they can't tell you whether you're chatting shit or not. Like, that's just a quick buck on that front, right? And they're a non-profit organisation, so where did that money go? Is that to pay the Saudi-owned Face It?
I'm guessing to fund their operations, but yeah, I'm a little bit wary of the whole not-for-profit thing and then doing things like that. I know you need funds.
I thought. I mean, maybe I got this wrong, but I thought the £295 or whatever it was that not for the whole games? Was that literally for the talks?
I believe that was the forum. Yeah, that was just the forum.
Wow, that's crazy.
Let me pull it up here. Yeah.
Games, I should know what the tickets were. I think they were around £50, but I think they went down.
Oh, right. Okay, so the 295 will just be for the speeches then, won't it?
That was the forum, yeah, more industry. I think when you go to events like that as well, you're paying for networking, right? And that price is in line with other esports and gaming industry conferences, or some of them. But those are different, like Adam, like you were saying, those will have people in.
They'll have experts.
Esports and so on. And this is a good point, actually, on this topic. Who do they have at the Global Esports Federation that are, really endemic esports people of that background? I think there's someone called Kelvin Tan who's there as director of esports. I don't know Kelvin, but apparently he has been a semi-pro player and has been in esports for 20 years. And then, like I say, you've got Chester King from British esports, but he's not a gamer as such. He'll tell you, or he didn't come into esports as a gamer, and has learnt a lot in the whatever it's been 6-7 years since setting up.
I think they brought in like traditional sports folks, like retired like competitors and Olympians and stuff, because they were trying to do, and I hadn't really heard about it much since, but the whole like virtual sports thing, effectively, where it's like we're partnering with the Taekwondo Federation and the World Sailing Federation, and we're gonna like merge the two. So basically, just have like VR games, which is not like accepted or even acknowledged or even ready to be in esports as it stands. So, I think they've got more people outside of esports than they do inside of esports, which is mad. Whereas, if you go to another conference, well, that's a problem within itself for an esports federation. But on the conference front alone, like basically any other conference is going to be run by people who know what they're on about somewhat. I mean, Sam Cook at ESI doesn't know what he's on about, but the people around him, like, it's all right. You know what I mean?
When are we getting Sam on? We should have had him on for this.
Mate, I can't get a WhatsApp reply within 3 months from him. So there's no way we're locking him down for a video, mate.
Yeah, that man is busy, no doubt. Or he doesn't like it, or both.
Will you be?
I was nearly spilled some beans then. I'm not spilling the beans, but no, he likes me.
Will I see you guys at ESI London? I do like the ESI London.
Yeah, you'll see me, mate.
You will not see me. I got the invite, and I said no.
Why not? Come on, Adam.
There are a myriad of reasons.
Drink Asahi.
I don't drink alcohol.
Oh, fucking hell. Right, we can...
I don't drink alcohol. I don't watch esports.
We can all get some food together. Come on.
I'm not. No. You see how much like the ESI discounted hotels are.
Do you know how many people are dying to see you at those events?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah,
I know.
Charge people to meet you. Charge them for the Adam Fitch Federation.
If they allow us to do a live Cyberathletics featuring Sacco, then I'll consider it. But apart from that,
see this is a good point. Imagine if so what you guys were just talking about there being no real like esports. I mean, limited esports expertise and like the endemic folk, them not actually being there in the Global Esports Federation. Wouldn't it just be better to do this whole thing? So have a global. If you're going to have one, why not just do it and fill it with people that are from the industry, have been working in the industry for the last 15, 20 years, and just do it that way? Like, is this not just like a soft version and like are we not limiting ourselves by having people that don't? I mean, I guess like you do have the expertise, like I said, I suppose Chester King, who I don't know a ton about, but he runs British Esports Association, doesn't he? Or British Esports.
Yeah. Federation, but kind of British esports now. I didn't put my disclaimer, did I, at the start of this?
Oh, here we go. Disclaimer time.
Okay, yeah. So I worked at the British Esports Association, as it was known then, for 4 years. I did a lot of the content on their website, and I still help a little bit now with the. They do the weekly email newsletter, so I curate some news from around the web, and I put that together. But I'm not a full-time employee, and I'm not sort of privy to a lot of the inside stuff that goes on there. But I need to put that disclaimer in.
And we haven't really mentioned British esports until then. So.
And by the way, as well, British esports, I didn't know this until the other day. They do have a partnership with Global Esports Federation. Mm-hmm. So Chester is a vice president at the Global Esports Federation. But from what I understand as well, they also have some kind of agreement in place with them, right? With the Commonwealth Games Federation and Global Esports Federation. And British Esports has agreed to help with development of coaching, education courses, things like that, with Global Esports. Because British Esports are very focused on education, right? They've got this BTEC with Pearson in colleges around the UK, and they've got their student championships as well. So, yeah.
Is that in partnership with Newell or anything like that, or is that its own thing?
No, they focus on the below the university level.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so schools and colleges. UK also do as well. That's the BBC and me. I've never worked for BBC, but other brands are available. UK does school tournaments as well. The games industry trade body here in the UK.
Yeah, so you've got some expertise in running that sort of thing at the Global Esports Federation, but
there's what's the incentive? You were saying fill it with people who know what they're on about, right? What's the incentive for, say, a Richard Lewis or a Eunice Chen or a Lil Susie, like these people who've been on for ages and operated towards the top, and Richard's obviously not in the same capacity, but knows what he's on about and is very well connected. What's the incentive for them to get involved in something when, again, like a federation inherently is not going to be able to like oversee esports? Because as we've discussed many times, Billy, by now, like esports is not just one thing. Obviously, it's however many things, and it can change all of the time. Developers have varied degrees of interest and involvement in what's going on. So I understand
what goes on.
If we come together, maybe then they'll take us seriously. If this is like a united front for the industry, but also getting that many people in a room, like half of them are going to be like, "Oh, I don't want Richard there. He blocked me on Twitter." And, like, you're just not going to get past the petty shit. Like for the betterment of the industry, I think we've seen by now that a lot of people, or at least some people, are in it for the self-interest as opposed to the betterment of the industry and what's best for that, in my opinion, as evidenced by like ESL and Face It and DreamHack being sold to Saudi and Blast and Abu Dhabi and all that shit. So I say all that to say, I don't know if, even if everyone did come together, I don't know, one, if they could get on with each other and agree on things, and two, if it will be taken seriously by the companies that need to take it seriously.
That's a really good point. And what is the incentive for them? Because if Global Esports weren't around 2-3 years ago and they've said, "Oh, we're here now," why should some of the key people in esports care and come on board? And, I can compare that with when I was at British Esports in the early days when I just joined. We wanted to form this advisory board. We did go for some endemic people, and we did invite Richard Lewis on and other people. I think Richard was a part of it for a few weeks, and then I guess decided not to be a part of it. There was someone else on the board that they had a bit of a disagreement on Twitter. So I can't remember it now. I don't want to judge up old drama.
Exactly. Twitter just rules the industry, man.
Paul Challoner was part of the British Esports for a bit as well. And I remember him saying, I don't want to be throwing stones all the time. I want to be in the house and make sure it's, things are going okay. And I think he was there for about a year or so, helping a little bit. And I think still has, a working relationship with people like Andy Payne from British Esports. But yeah, you've seen members of the board come and go, but you've got people like Odie on the board, and you have got some endemic people there. Rams, R2K from Chichester Uni, who's one of those early pro gamers in the UK. You do have some of those people on there as well. Yeah. I know we're going on a tangent. That's not Global Esports. Maybe Global Esports should do something like that. I want to see them reach out to the community better.
Yeah. All they have to do is just offer me the bag, and I change the whole game.
Yeah, because right now, I mean, like, I'm trying not to be too critical of them because I don't actually know, and I'm sure there are, the event Commonwealth Games and stuff seem to go relatively well, but at the moment it does feel like they're like either to the side or a little bit above the whole industry, and like people don't really care, and because they've not engaged with the core community, people don't really trust them. So I think it's just a bit odd. They feel odd. The relationship between them and esports players and fans just feels odd.
I think in general, you've touched on a good point here. I think esports bodies in general have a hard time here, right? When you look at things like ESIC, I know ESIC have done pretty well to engage with the CSGO community, but they have their critics as well. Like these other people I've mentioned, WESA, IESF and things like that, they haven't really been accepted by the community. even some of the players' associations haven't been super.
Yeah, I was just going to say the LCSPA and stuff like that took a long time for it to get to where it is now, where everyone's on board. You look at the CSPPA, like that's just a laughing stock. Effectively, no one really takes it seriously.
There you go.
It's the same across the board.
It's a tricky one, isn't it? Is this a esports problem, people in esports problem, or is this a problem with all these entities and bodies trying to come in? Do we need bodies like, some people still say some people call for actual governing body in esports. I know we can't have them, right? Because we have all the different publishers, or it'd be very hard to do. But some people want more government interaction as well.
And they're the people I assume like power, is my is my guess on that front. But like and this leads into what Billy said. The reason you had to highlight my tweet in the interview is because no one else was even fucking talking about it. And that's the point. It's not everyone's being critical. It's just only Adam Fitch was talking about this fucking thing.
It's spot on because and like I said to you in the DM as well, Adam, I had a lot of people saying to me in my DMs and on Discord and things like that, who are these guys, Dom? I don't trust them, blah blah blah. So I felt I had a bit of a duty to vocalise that. But I needed an example, and you had a public example, and it wasn't just you, Adam. When you tweeted, a few other people,
but only after. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly, because they feel
you have to force it out of them.
They feel it's okay to do it then, right? Again, that's another thing of communities, isn't it? As well, internet.
But yeah, it's just I fully agree with Billy. It's just not plugged into where we're all at. For whatever reason, it just feels like a new stepdad that's come in. You know what I mean? He's trying to integrate with the kid, but it's just not cool and just doesn't know how to relate on the same level. Maybe have different goals for what this relationship should be. So then they just now maybe overreaching and saying, well, I'm doing loads for this family, which is the Commonwealth Esports stuff. That's kind of how I see it. It's just there's an argument, a very real argument that the Commonwealth stuff could end up being a really good thing for esports, and we shall see. And theoretically getting the more mainstream exposure and being attached to legitimate sports, that's sick. But it's just are these the people to do it? Was it streamed on Twitch? I didn't see one person post a clip, one person share a link.
Yeah, again, there was some criticisms there from that Welsh player that Global Esports Federation had their Twitch, but not all the games were streamed from there, and it was a bit sporadic. British Esports were streaming some of the games. It was hard to find the schedule. I would have liked to have seen a bit more there, or maybe I missed it a bit. It seemed a bit like. I will say, this is a journalist thing. It bugs me as a journalist. You'll get this as well. When a company tries to announce things staggered, they do 8 announcements when there only needs to be 1 or 2. And I noticed Esports Championships did this. Right, they announced the date, or they announced Birmingham. Then it was then they announced the games. The player rosters were really late. And I said to some of my friends at British Esports, why didn't we announce the player rosters much sooner? Because that helps with tickets and things like that. We had some players, Rocket League players in the UK, England players. That weren't tons, but, we need more of that stuff. If they were announced 2 months before, you might have got more Rocket League fans. So,
yeah.
I went on esports charts and there was no data, by the way. It was still saying waiting for data or waiting for things to be. So I don't know if they're in touch with Global Esports to try and get official figures or what. But it doesn't even seem like it was tracked by the company that tracks everything in esports.
Yeah, data. I'm glad you mentioned that, Adam, because a lot of people have questioned data. I did a press release that Global Esports sent out a few months ago about the Global Esports Tour or the Global Esports Games in Singapore, something like that. I published something on my site, and they said they had 500 million plus accumulated views. I've probably not looked properly, I've published it, and someone's commented on my story going, 500 million? Well, that can't be right. And I was like, actually, what's that all about? But I've looked into this and I've reached out to Global Esports. That includes viewing across all platforms, including Huyan and DouYu in China, right? And all social media. There's a lot it's included there. But the CEO said to me, when they launched in December 2019, they had 940 million hits. They said
because they're classing social media impressions as fucking hits. They're not comparing apples to apples. Like I said on the last episode, it's oranges to cardboard boxes, mate. Makes no sense.
You need to be inclusive of questionable Chinese data. You got to remember.
Of course,
companies like esports charts that don't even include Chinese data because it's just not reliable.
Right.
So,
Okay.
It's botted to the high heavens. So so you'll always see if you look at the graphics, there'll be a little asterisk at the top.
Yeah, because I when I was at ESI, I was like speaking to them because they gave me access so that I could use the data to write stories and stuff. And I asked them like, what's the crack with? I think it was League of Legends, and I couldn't see anything for China, and they said like we don't use it because it's not we can't verify it basically.
Yeah. Well, this 940 million hits also includes news coverage on print, online, TV, radio in Singapore, and regionally. So I don't know how
radio. So what? They included
print and radio. Do you know what I mean? When you say stuff like that, that's what damages your reputation among the people in esports.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like what you're doing now is you're clearly inflating the number just so that you can have the number, right? That's all.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I see that a lot as well. Press releases that land in my inbox with silly numbers, and it's like, or people saying we're the first so and so to do this.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
what's the? I can't think of it now, but the League of Legends stat that everybody used for ages. It was like the same repeated 100 million something. I can't remember.
100 million registered user accounts, wasn't it? Players.
I'm not sure.
I think you're about viewers though, right?
I think I'm on about viewership. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one that wound me up because when you actually look into it, that's such nonsense. It's like the Super Bowl is like a 3-hour game. And they said, so it was like 100 million unique viewers of Worlds over the course of like a month or two or something like that.
It goes 3 weeks now.
And that also included like auto play on articles. You click on an article, a video pops up at the bottom and it's Worlds. They included that. It's like 100 million, bigger than the Super Bowl. It's like, fuck off. That's just bullshit.
I know I'm on a side point. Have you thought about doing this on Twitch, guys? I think you'd do well on Twitch doing this.
You reckon?
Yeah.
So I've never actually considered that. I've been thinking about like Spotify. We're on Spotify now. Oh, actually, I need to do a shout out. Hold that thought, Adam, on Twitch. Hold that thought.
Shit.
Right. No, so Henrietta, who was a writer at ESI when I was there, I was her editor, who's really, really good. She's at Fragster. I don't know if you guys know anything about Fragster.
I've seen it crop up a little bit. I don't know too much about them.
She's the editor-in-chief, I think, these days. I'm not too familiar with it. She's from the Czech Republic. But anyway, she listens to this and she asked me if we're ever going to go on Apple Music because that's what she preferred to. Apple Podcasts, sorry, I guess.
I like that one as well. That's what I listen to.
Yeah, so I think we'd get more plays in total if we just put it. I mean, I don't know how easy it is to do, Adam, but
the answer is.
And we're on a tangent here.
Do it.
Yeah, maybe we should.
Nothing is too difficult for Cyberathletics podcast, the most well-funded and well-staffed podcast in the universe. Yeah, it was like, I think it was like, we just chucked it in the chat and we both acknowledged it was awful, but then it was like, oh, it's so bad, it's kind of good.
Yeah, I like
it. Yeah. No, I think it's grown on me even more. So go on, what do you think about Twitch, Adam? We're on a tangent now, sorry to the viewers.
Yeah, it's my fault.
Listening to us. No, it's fine.
Do you think we would get performance anxiety? I'm quite a timid person.
I think you'd be.
I am. But what you were really asking is, would I get performance anxiety?
No, me too. I'm just saying that maybe things would shift a little bit.
Maybe we'd lose the live streaming. I don't know. I think I'd probably prefer that to YouTube. I mean, we'd do YouTube as well.
Yeah, I'd just rip it and bang it up on YouTube. Content remarketing. Yeah. Come on.
See what people think. Here's one for the algorithm. What would you like Cyberathletics? Let us know in the comments below.
There we go. Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay, I will think about that stuff and I will get it on Apple over the weekend. Anyway, so
shout out Henrietta.
Shout out Henrietta. Is she still at ESI, or is she left now to go Fragster?
She's at Fragster full time, I presume.
Rest in peace. I will never read one of her articles again.
It looks like a Berlin-based Fragster. Looking at this,
is it right? Okay. Yeah. No, she was good. She was good to work with.
Interesting. So, like overall, Dom, being like you're very well connected, plugged into UK esports as a whole, how do you think the event has been taken and received?
I think overall, sort of more leaning towards positive. When you look at it overall, what I liked about it and what Jack liked as well, we're covering it for us, was I think inspiring the youngsters. There aren't many esports events or majors where you can bring young children along and feel happy to bring them along. Okay, you've got games like Rocket League, still a bit of a raucous atmosphere. The Commonwealth is, it's always, if you look at the Olympics and the Commonwealth, it's for everyone, isn't it? It inspires youngsters. That's what I liked about it. There were a few kids there attending. That might be because I'm an old boomer and I'm a dad as well, right? So I think about that stuff much more than I would have done 10 years ago. I like that. And to Chester's credit, when he set up British Esports, one of his goals was to create or shout about future British champions in esports, because he was going to a few esports events. There are no UK players, and he wanted to try and inspire that. And I think now that we've got school championships and college championships, which I would have loved as a youngster, by the way, I'm sure I would have done Smash Brothers or something.
They did not have video games when you were in school, Dom. Quit lying.
Yeah, no, it was kind of frowned on. When I was at school, when I was in secondary school, I was playing games like Final Fantasy X on the PS2, Metal Gear Solid 2, and things like that. I know,
Sorry.
really.
Dom, don't stand for this.
No.
Sorry, I'm just making some ageist jokes. I apologise. I'm old.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. I embrace it. I take it as I'm experienced and learning.
Wise.
Wise, yeah. It was looked down on. If someone at school or a teacher said, "Hey, what did you do this weekend?" "Oh, I beat Final Fantasy X." All right. It's changed now. It's changed now. Oh, there's a new league champion or whatever. Or, this new team in FIFA, Team of the Week pack's been announced. It's different now. It's more accepted. I wish I was born a bit too early, I think.
So you think that element of it, was really to the credit of the event?
Yeah, I do. But then I have to say as well, how much of that was from Global Esports and how much was from the Commonwealth Games Federation? Because the cynic in me would say, have Global Esports piggybacked on the Commonwealth Games, which is already a thing, and said, "Oh, you could do esports." The Commonwealth could have done that themselves, really. And I think this is only going to get more integrated now. People are already doing reports that it's going to be part of the games potentially in 2026 in Victoria. So, overall it was good. Some teething issues. There were some streaming problems, slight delays and audio problems. We get that on big broadcast as well. I would just like more openness, more transparency from the Global Esports Federation. Because they do. It's not that they don't announce things and announce press releases. It's just a lot of their press releases, I see them and I'm like, what does this actually mean? They need someone from esports to be there with them, I think, who's really from esports since the early days. Yeah. So, but I wasn't there, so it's hard for me to say. But judging from Jack's article, it was overall positive, but a little bit odd. I think the forum, to be honest, leave the forum for, the established ones out there like Esports Insider and the other ones we have out there.
How old's Jack, by the way? How old's Jack?
Jack is, I'm not sure his exact age, but he's going to be around 21 or so because he's.
I do not trust his opinion. He's too young, too passionate, too youthful, too enthusiastic. I do not believe a word he says. That article to me means nothing. I need it to be written by a 30-year-old who's seen some shit.
Yeah. No, he's all right.
That's the perspective I believe.
Yeah. He's all right, Jack. And well, I'm worried about insomnia then because I've got a team of young people there and students and things. But yes, no, we need a good mix of old and young. I think.
I'm only messing, mate. Don't worry. That's
how old are you two? Because I feel really old.
Yeah, you're asking how old we are?
I'm 25.
Okay.
I'm 27.
Okay, that's all right. Yeah, so I'm about 10 years older. It does make me feel very old, but I'm happy to be accepted. Right. I look through the ageist jokes as banter and. Except
Dom, you're the ringleader of this. You're not just part of the group. You're the
granddad of it.
Yeah.
Compliment. I'll take it as a compliment. Do you know what? The whole boomer thing makes me laugh though, because my dad's technically a boomer, right? Born in the 50s, mid to late 50s. Yeah. That's the baby boomer generation, isn't it? I'm technically an early millennial, technically, or a late Gen X, whatever it is. So,
shit. I don't even. I've not looked at that stuff. I don't believe in that. Just like I don't believe in star signs. So I don't know what I am. I just go for as you like Doomer. Once to pitch to you because you had that podcast Boomer and Zuma with Nathan Edmonds.
And if Nathan's watching this, what happened to that? Congrats, by the way, guys, because it's something like whatever it is, 80 or 90% of podcasts don't make it past episode 3. So you've done well. Boomer and Zuma didn't.
Thank you.
Keep going. Keep going.
It's good.
Define statistics once and for all. So Commonwealth gets one of them overall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you both? I'd like to hear your views as well from seeing press releases and things.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Adam's probably more likely to keep on top of the regular update stuff like that. I've kind of been out of the loop a tiny bit with having a job like that I've just left today, which is why I had the beer, not an alcoholic. So I've been a talent manager like in gaming, so I've kind of been out of the loop a little bit because it's not all strict esports. In fact, none of it is basically. This is the esports stuff I do with Adam, and then I'm going to get back into esports journalism, which I'm really looking forward to. So anyway, what was my point then?
The event. What was your opinion?
I just think in terms of the event, I mean, I'm basically the same as Dom. Like, it's hard to say without being there. Seems okay generally. I would just like to see him do more stuff, engage more with the actual community, like the playing community. They seem a bit abstract and a bit like irrelevant, even if they're not. Like, they might have some really interesting things planned, and like, I'm not against anything that they do just because they're a body or whatever. I guess I'd just like to see him get more involved with people like on the ground, boots on the ground.
Get some pro players, get some people from the get engaged, and that shows.
Liven it up a bit. It feels a bit dead and a bit like stale. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little bit corporate. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah. What about you, Adam?
I have to give mine now. So I would say if this is our big moment, then you would want to put your best foot forward, right? And I don't think that has happened from the formatting issues to, as you say, like the issues tech-wise. Yeah. And then also you consider, imagine how good, you either have to go one or two ways. Get the biggest names in to compete if you want the most views, or if you want to go the legit sports way, open it up to qualifiers, have it run for 6 months, a year, have people make it a real journey to reach that point instead of just slapping it together, having team managers select people like that. That opens up many conflict of interest opportunities. You have a huge selection process for, I don't know, however many months, lead up to it, and then you get the best of the best, those that truly, quote unquote, deserve to be there based on merit and results, right? And then you have it as these are the best of England versus the best of, I don't know, Cyprus, whatever it may be, instead of having it selected however it may be, bias, unbiased, whatever.
Yeah.
And put it as these are legitimately the best esports athletes that we have in these titles, have everything open so you know what you're leading up to, you know when it's going to be months in advance, you know how much it's going to be months in advance, you know the games months in advance, and instead it was all put together very quickly, which I don't think helped. The staggered announcements, look, maybe it's good for hype in some people's eyes, but for me it just makes comms messy as anything. I don't know what the hell's going on. So tell us it all as early as you can. Maybe definitely be more prepared next time if you're going to redo it, I would say. And let's have a proper whack at it, instead of just doing this kind of, we're trying it, but, I mean, it feels like a first event. I'll put it that way. And you don't want that for what's supposed to be a spectacle, us integrating, at least in the West, into traditional sports for the first time, right? Because we've got the Asian Games that have integrated esports somewhat. So in my view, I wasn't there, so I can't judge it too much. But from everything I've heard and seen, it tells me that we could have made a bigger dent than what we did, and we could have put on a much better show than was put on, seemingly. Because it's hard enough to get taken seriously in esports right now from the sports folks anyway. So you at least want to put your best foot forward. Is definitely how I look at it.
You are right. It was the first one as well, but you've got people like Face It there. Yeah, maybe the expectations were high. I'd like to see what you've just given me an idea there. Well, I can see the ups and downs to this, but in terms of the players, put it to the community. Which players do they want to see represented in England? You're right. There does come conflict of interest with team managers. There might be someone who's fallen out with a player who's really good, doesn't want him. You see that in football as well. But then community votes are open to abuse as well.
Yeah,
We'd have like Gross Score competing for us or something, you know what I mean? If it came to that, like if America and it would have like FaZe Banks, Keemstar, and Nade Shot on a Rocket League team if it was down to popularity. So,
I would rather shoot myself than interact with that.
so I understand what you're saying though, Dom. Like maybe there's a pre-selection first of like these are the people who have made this point, and now it's up to the public to get involved, and that's one way of getting some engagement in.
Yeah,
I guess long-term interest involved because you want to see how these players are going to perform, right?
Yeah.
Or a panel, you know. I know the awards you've already spoken
yeah.
about. A panel can be good in some ways.
It's better than one person making all those choices, I find. So
Yes.
I'm not sure if that's the case for all of the countries that were involved, right? But it definitely was for like UK.
But I will say, shout out to the team managers. We did have some good team managers on UK. Mark Weller from Vex Gaming did the Esports England, and he did work hard with that. And you know,
he's a good guy. I've got nothing against him.
I think he'll tell you, you know, it wasn't plain sailing. But yeah, and the thing is, when you've got things like this, you've got a case of like too many cooks sometimes, right? It can be a bit of a Frankenstein thing. You've got Global Esports, Commonwealth Federation, you've got all the member states, all the partners, face it, different teams. Confetti, like, it increases the chance of things going wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's probably right, yeah.
I'll be honest, like, and you'd think I'd never say this, but I'd have preferred like ESL just coming because you know they're going to do a fucking good job, even though it's Saudi linked and I don't like the company as it is now. But like, if you want it done right, like, I'd much prefer you bring them in.
So sod it, you know, they're already Saudi linked.
Face it is an ESL same ownership, like, but like the ESL side, like, look, they put on big events every other month at this rate, so
yeah. It'd be interesting if the community's opinion changes on the Saudi stuff or how that develops. I think it's going to be a key trend over the next year or two or foreseeable future. I just spoke to someone earlier who is an endemic esports person, and they said the Gamers 8 thing out in Saudi was one of the best events they've been to. So it's this thing, isn't it? How much money and how many good events can change people's minds?
That's the thing. I think just from watching football my whole life, basically, like, people do just tend to forget, like, now everybody's interested in Newcastle just as a team this season. No one's talking about Saudi Arabia anymore. I mean, it's a big topic in golf with the new tournament, but I think the sad thing is people end up forgetting this stuff and it's just not spoken about as much.
You say that. The other week, I listened to TalkSport a little bit for my sins. I was in the car the other week, and this was just after an esports podcast. It might have been your podcast I listened to, and then they were talking about the Saudi thing. And a lot of the boomers on there were going, we've had Saudi money for years, who cares, blah, blah, blah. It was interesting to listen. And the younger people on the show were like, are you for real right now? You've got to learn about Saudi and that. And the boomers were like, you're so young and naive. We know about this stuff, but it pays the bills and all this stuff. It was interesting to listen to the debate.
The young people are like, we can't even drink beer at the upcoming World Cup. Like, what kind of fucked up shit is this? You know what I mean? But so yeah, it will be interesting how it goes. But I have a feeling it'll be a case of like, the product's better for it. There's more money, so therefore it's better for us as fans. Like, they've got no interest beyond wanting to see their favorite players compete, right? So and go to the biggest and best events. So I can't imagine the fans are going to do it. And the industry folks are either taking money from them or they're basically scared to say anything for the most part, besides a select few of us. So
I've been trying to cover the Saudi stuff because I'm well aware people are saying, no one's talking about it. I know mine's a little old site, but I will still keep covering this stuff. You know, Moist Esports, the Rocket League team, they've got 2 players from the UK. They declined to attend.
Yes.
The other week.
Yeah, it was Gamers 8, wasn't it, that they were supposed to go to, right?
I think that was it. Yeah, or the Gamers Without Borders, one of them two.
That's the one. Yeah. But they were like, it don't align with what we stand for. And I saw that and I was like, holy shit, what the fuck? Is there hope?
Yeah, I thought loads of teams were going to drop out after that, but they didn't. I think they were the only ones, from what I remember. But yeah, sorry, I'm going on a massive tangent. Once you get me talking, guys, you're going to regret inviting me on now.
No, not at all, man. Well, I mean, Billy, have you got it, or should we chuck it to outro?
Chuck it to outro. I'm not singing this time, but...
No. At the end of this, I'm not committing to that. No. At the end of next one, if this performs well, if this episode performs well, I will sing the chorus of the GEF song.
You said 100 likes, didn't you, or something?
Yeah, 100 likes, yeah. I'm all talk. I'm not gonna lie. There's no way we could get 1,000 likes. So there's literally no way.
But if it gets
I'd do it for 5
100
likes.
I will bug these two guys, right, viewers. I will bug them to do it. Or I don't know what a duet. I don't know what a 3-person one is. I don't know what it's called. But
I don't know.
I'm not putting myself forward.
Triad.
Yeah.
He's invited himself back on so he can sing for us. Like, what a guy Dom is. But Dom, thank you very much for taking the time to speak to us, mate. But firstly, mate, plug what you need to plug. Let's give you a moment to shine. And
thanks very much. I guess just Esports News UK. I've been doing it for coming up to 7 years now. We just write about UK esports stuff, League of Legends and other games. Some people say I'm mad to do that in the UK scene. Is it really a thing? Esports is so global. But I set it up because I wanted to shout about the talent we have here. And so, just drop us a follow, really. There isn't much more to add. I don't like to...
Genuinely, Dom's knowledge of esports generally, especially anything to do with the UK, anything to do with colleges, schools, universities, I feel like your knowledge is just fucking, like, genuinely second to none. So
thank you.
People should go and read it. Read Esports News UK if they haven't already.
And thank you for being an editor for us, Billy, last year when I was on holiday. We'll have to do that again.
Anytime. Yeah, anytime. If you ever need anything, reach out.
Lovely stuff. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
I've just witnessed a real bromancer. Right, thank you everyone for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.